Welcome to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff, DiVeronica, and Steve Bradley back in studio for one of our final interviews of the season, and it's with a team that has become a perennial Section 5 power in girls lacrosse, the Palmyra-Macedon Red Raiders. Steve Bradley.
Absolutely, Jeff. Everybody knows about Honeoye Falls Lima in Class C, 10 in a row. Congrats to Coach O'Connell and his team. But Palmac on Wednesday night won their fifth straight, dating back to 2017. We've got Coach E.J. Burse. We've got Kylie Waeghe, the lone senior on the team. And Molly Seither will be joining us, too.
Well, let's bring them onto our specialty Skype hotline. They're also part of what we thought was the best game of the week against Aquinas in the Section 5 championship game, a last-minute victory. And, Steve, you were there to cover that, right?
I did. They actually fell behind, Jeff, with about 3 minutes left. They fell behind 8-7. And scored. Molly forced the turnover in the last couple of minutes. They came down, got a free position shot by Jenna Santelli. And then Molly with 23 seconds left. And let's go right to that, Molly. You scored the winning goal. You were in traffic inside the 8 meters. It looked like you got crunched a little bit. What happened on that play, and how did it feel when you saw that ball went in?
To be honest, at that time, I knew I had to make a cut trying to open up a lane for someone else to go through. And during the game, I saw they kind of left cutters open at some points, like leaving them, hoping someone else would come and pick them up. So I guess with seconds left, I thought about just staying in there. And when Reagan found me, I turned and I knew I was shooting. And I guess I could say I was lucky that she hit me, because how the ball bounced because of it is why it went up to the upper 90. And I guess once I caught it with seconds left, I kind of knew that like this was the time and it was now or never. So I shot it, and once I saw it went in, at first I didn't even know what happened because I was falling. And once I saw it went in, I don't know, it was a feeling that I can't explain.
Coach Burse, like I said, this is our Pittsford Pub Game of the Week. Thank you to Pittsford Pub for sponsoring our Game of the Week each week, and obviously visit that great establishment to watch a good ball game and get a great meal. But as I recall, some of these championship games haven't probably been this close. Have you ever had a one-goal game in this title run for you? I don't.
In 19 we did. When we played Minders, we won 10-9, I believe.
Okay, but and this sounded like Molly. She sounds like a student of the game. She's talking about, yeah. I mean, what did you guys have a play called on this, or do you leave it up to the girls to make something happen?
It's part of our motion offense. They have a lot of freedom in that. It's kind of a read and react style offense. So not a direct play call like we would in basketball, like A to B, B to C, but the opportunity for them to kind of do what they need to do within the parameters of the offense.
Kylie, as the lone senior on the team, and you were on the 2019 team as well, your team is now in the state semifinals. What is your message to your teammates that they've kind of done this maybe ahead of their time a little bit, and now that with your experience, what do you share with your teammates as you get ready to go to Cortland?
I would say a big thing to focus on is just like having fun. I know it can be stressful because there is a lot on the line. As soon as we lose or win, it determines whether we go home or whether we continue playing. So I would say just focus on the game, play your best, do what you can do, play your own game of lacrosse, and just have a lot of fun, because I went when I was a freshman and no one else has been able to experience this because of COVID. So I think it's really cool that I'm the only person that's actually been able to go to the Cortland tournament, and now we can all go through it as a.
Well, it's great balance. Kylie leads the team, 74 goals, 14 assists. Then sophomore Reagan Deal, 54 goals, 30 assists. Go down the line, Molly's got 19 and 29, a team high 85 ground balls. Kylie is the leader in draw controls with 95 and 35 caused turnovers. Jenna Santelli, a freshman, 26 goals, 9 assists. And an 8th grader, Tegan Hudak, 18 goals, 16 assists. And then finally your goalie is a junior, Faith Beals. Coach, has there been a team this young that's done this for you? This seems like a really super young team. I mean, are they ahead of your time in your opinion?
In some ways, yes. I mean, definitely it's a young team. It's the youngest team you've ever had have this much success. With that being said, I think with the youth program and the coaching staff we have and dedication of the parents and the kids and the lacrosse community overall, I wasn't totally surprised. I could see pretty early in tryouts it was a very talented group of kids. So, yeah, in some ways we were surprised, but in other ways I knew that they weren't afraid of the moment.
That's a great segue there, EJ. When we were doing our game prep for Varsity Media, one of the things that you said about Molly is that she will do whatever is needed when it's needed. And she was very crucial in getting the turnover when you were down 1 to set you up with less than 3 minutes left to get the tying goal. And then she delivered at crunch time. We heard her describe the goal earlier, but what was your take from the sideline as that play unfolded?
The nice thing about this team, I've had a lot of teams with some talented scorers, for sure. With this team, there's just very unselfish. Kids will look for the open girl. They're very patient. So when Molly was inside and she had the opportunity to shoot, I was very confident. And I know that we speak in cliches as coaches a lot, but I meant what I said about Molly before the game of, like, if she needed to play just great defense and not score at all and win 50-50 balls, that's what she would do to win the game. And if she needed to lead us in scoring in that game, that's what she would do to win the game. She's the kind of kid that is going to just do whatever the team needs and not be concerned about kind of her personal accolades. And boy, that proved out that game, guarding Henchcliffe pretty much the whole game and then scoring the game winner.
Talking Pal-Mac girls lacrosse. Molly, let me follow up on that. Not every kid knows how to play their role, and I think it's one of the great lessons that sports does teach is a lot about winning, losing, but knowing your role on a team. Have you always been that way, or did somebody teach you like it's not always going to be you're the one that's getting the headlines and scoring the goals? How did you learn that?
I think really coming up through like my youth, I've always been playing up for the most part. And so honestly, I was always told like I'm not always going to be the star on the team, nor should anyone else be. Like we should all be a team, but just to do your part. And I guess I could say my sister before me, she was kind of the player on the team that on defense, like last year in sectional finals before she tore ACL, she was on Henchcliffe. And so I guess I took it from her where I hear I need to do something and I'll just follow through with it.
Well, it's great. It's nice to see the pipeline too with the sisters now and the younger sisters as part of champions at Palmyra-Macedon. On our specialties hotline, we will take a quick break, come back, and talk more with Palmac Red Raiders as they head into the the state semifinals right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show.
I'm a biomedical sciences major. My goal is to one day open up my own pediatric office. I want to create an environment almost similar to the environment that Roberts creates for me. I want them to walk into the doctor's office and feel love. When I got here, I was just like, yeah, this is home. This is where I need to be. Be prepared for an adventure, be prepared for a journey, and enjoy the journey.
Have you recently bought a home, or have you been in your home for 5 years or more? Have you looked at your ductwork?
If not properly cleaned, air ducts can become contaminated with dust, pollen, or even mold. This can impact the air that you're breathing.
Check us out online and schedule your appointment today.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
There's a path to success full of challenges, rewards, inspiration, and strength. A strength that only the U.S. Army Reserve can give you. The skills and experiences you'll get will give you an advantage in your civilian life. Stay close to home, train to develop your strengths, and get on a path to success. Find out more at goarmy.com/reserve.
For more information, contact Syracuse Army Recruiting Center, 315-449-2830. There's strong. Then there's Army Strong, paid for by the U.S. Army.
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff, DiVeronica, and Steve Bradley in our 19th season, coming to a close soon, Steve. We're talking to one of our Section 5 lacrosse champions, and we did, as usual, a number Section 5 on the Buffalo area teams. I think it was 6 out of 8 when the boys and girls, I think, won.
But the girls were 4-0, and all 4 games went to running clock. So Section 5 very strong again this year.
A 15-2 win by Palmac over Section 5 Eden, and I don't think in this 5-year run of Palmac winning sectionals they've ever lost in the qualifier or the state regionals to go to the semifinals. But we'll talk about what happened when they get down to Cortland and what they have coming up next in just a minute. But I want to also announce that in his 15th season as coach, Coach E.J. Burse, one of our guests here, is our G&G Fitness Coach of the Week for building this program into a perennial power. Like a lot of coaches and a lot of programs, it took a little bit for this program to break through, Steve Bradley, and become a champion. I think there were a couple losses to HFL, and they couldn't get to that level. And then, they did create a Class D, but now certainly the cream of the crop in Class D in Section 5, and one of the top teams in the state is Palmyra-Macedon. So congratulations to Coach E.J. Burse right there, our G&G Fitness Coach of the Week. Coach, did you play lacrosse growing up, and who were some of your major influences as a coach?
Yeah, I played high school lacrosse at Bloomfield. I played for a gentleman named Mike Rio, who's a Canandaigua guy, who was a big influence on me, both in a lacrosse standpoint and choosing to go to school to be a teacher. Mike came out of Canandaigua and played at St. Lawrence University. And obviously Bloomfield hasn't had a ton of success in high school lacrosse, but he taught me more about building a culture and building a team and making sure the sport is about having fun. And I think that really trickled in. Then landing in Palmac and getting the opportunity to coach under the late Dave Giordano, who coached soccer there. He was one of my assistants, and Brian Quick in wrestling. They kind of taught me a little bit more about building a winning culture. So I got lucky and had a lot of really positive mentors as both a coach and a lacrosse player.
And Palmac has had tremendous success this year. Both Kylie and Molly were on the girls soccer team that won sectionals. They're sending their baseball team to the state semifinals. I saw AD Tom Schmidt over the weekend, and I was at the baseball game, and he had his boys lacrosse team playing at 5:30 in Buffalo and the girls at 6. And I said, have you figured out how to be in 2 places at once yet? And Tom said, no, but it's a good problem to have. So great year all around for the Red Raiders. Kylie, you've been on the team through since you're, back to 2019, 4 years with Coach Burse. What makes him the coach that he is?
I think the thing that makes Burse such a great coach is the fact that he prioritizes us having fun over sometimes the wins, because we do get caught up in wanting to win every single game, and he schedules a lot of really difficult games so that way we can focus more on just playing our game and having fun and learning what we need to work on. And I think he really does a great job at highlighting what we need to work on without pointing out all of our flaws, so it keeps us in a positive mindset. And it's very constructive coaching, and I really, really love how he coaches.
Molly, what will you think of 10 years from now when somebody says, hey, what did you think of Coach Burse way back in the day? What was he like? What will you tell people?
To kind of go off of Kylie, I think with our flaws through the game, we'll go into the next practice and we'll try to work on it, whether that's offense or defense. But he always prioritizes having fun, so I think he puts that first, but we're also really determined to work on everything else that we need to work on.
So EJ, when we were talking last week, you mentioned that Kylie, just a prototypical midfielder. She does everything from scoring over 88 points this year, but draw controls, causing turnovers. She's going to Division II Grand Valley, which is a great program for women's lacrosse. You had a great line for me, and I wonder if you remember when you describe Kylie. How do you describe her?
She's tough and she's a grinder. I don't remember the exact line, but if I were to make a mid in a lab, it would be a Kylie-like
Boom!
player.
There it is.
If
right
I were
there.
to make a midfielder in a lab, Kylie would be the player. That's what it is?
Yes, that's it. And fantastic compliment. And another reason, Jeff, this was the game of the week. Palmac fell behind 3-0 early, rallied to take a 6-5 lead. So
had you had a 3-goal deficit this year, Coach?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we lost to Irondequoit and Mercy, and we lost to Waterloo by 3. So we've had 3 goal deficits.
Okay.
But in a big stage without a ton of experience, Kylie, I'll go back to you being kind of the elder statesman on the team. Was there a message anytime throughout the game, just hang in there, let it come to us, and we'll be fine? Or how did you all steady the ship and deliver at the end?
I feel like we did a really good job at just kind of prioritizing play our own game. There was a point where I feel like we all got a little bit caught up in how can we beat this team and getting a little down on the game that we were down a couple points at a couple different times, and it was really back and forth. But when we went off for a timeout, we all just talked about play your game, play good lacrosse, and we always say play Palmac lacrosse. And I think that's what got us the win at the end, is we just kind of stuck together, played as a team, didn't care who scored the goal. We all just wanted to score together.
Next up is Skinny Atlas, a team you're familiar with, a program you're familiar with, at least Coach is for sure. They got you in the semifinals by 3 goals in 2017, and this is going to be a 3 o'clock start in Cortland on Friday. Coach, what have you learned about taking teams there? What have you learned about maybe not so much the coaching aspect and the X's and the O's, but making sure when the kids get to the field for that game, they're in the right frame of mind. Did you learn things? Did you have any pitfalls your first couple of years of going to the semifinals that you've changed the way you guys have done it?
I think one of the keys is being able to get down there and practice Thursday and getting them into that stadium and spending that time there to kind of get acclimated to the atmosphere. It's a pretty quick practice where you're not going to put in a lot of stuff. And obviously you're kind of pseudo prepping for 3 teams. You're focused on that semifinal game the most, but you're not going to have a practice to get ready for the potential 2 teams that you could play in the finals. So I think just focusing on the experience and focusing on what we do, who they have, but what is Palmac lacrosse and what do we need to do well helps you play better down there.
Molly, your first trip to the state semifinals, what are you most looking forward to?
I guess I could say team chemistry, and we've done some things through the year, but I really think going to states with this team we've already been really close, but bring us together more, and so I'm really excited for that.
The hotel is what they always say, Steve. The hotel, right? And I know there'll be a lot of school spirit setting you off in a great way from Palmyra-Macedon. So thank you, Red Raiders, for being on our show. We wish you the best of luck. This is a great time of the year when it's us in Section 5 against the rest. So we can be total homers now and say we're rooting for Section 5 to win every game from here on out. When it's Section 5 against Section 5, we can't really root. We shouldn't root. But best of luck. Go make history, ladies. Go do it all the way. Take this thing all the way. Good luck, Palmac. Thanks for being on. Coach Burse, thanks for being on our show. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate the coverage.
Ladies, good luck to you, all right? Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. For our producer, Joe Brott and Steve Bradley, I'm Jeff DiVeronica. Thanks for watching us right here on Rock Sports Now, the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show.